MSW Media.
So yeah, now it's clean up on aisle 45 time. And for a long while yet, it is going to be clean up on aisle 45.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 241 of Clean Up on Aisle 45. We are still cleaning up aisle 45, and I think we will be for a long time. It's Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. I'm Allison Gill.
Happy new month, Allison. Hey, everybody. This is Harry Dunn here. All right. So as usual, we have a lot to cover today, including this story it boggles my mind a little bit, but a judge actually refunding a January 6th defendant and the DOJ refusing to settle with the Proud Boys, and also the Air Force providing funeral honors to Ashli Babbitt.
Yeah. Rude.
Yeah.
That's just offensive to people who
It's extremely offensive.
are in the military. In addition to not being able to score a pierogi in Martha's Vineyard, Alan Dershowitz has lost his appeal in his CNN defamation case. Plus, Kash Patel's girlfriend is suing Kyle Seraphin. That's the guy who claims to be responsible for the firing of multiple high-level FBI officials, including Brian Driscoll, the Driz. And we also have some Rudy news. He's back in the news. But first, we have some new patrons to thank. And I'm so glad more people are signing up to become patrons. Not only are you supporting independent media, not only do you get these episodes early and ad-free, and you get to join us on our Zoom happy hour calls every month, but I'm going to be planning an IT Gala. For when it happens. And that's, we have a gala. We have galas all the time. This one is going to be the IT Gala. I buy everybody dinner. We have an open bar, so I buy all your drinks and we all hang out with a bunch of cool, like-minded people and have special guests come and speak. And this one's going to be a party. So
It is going to be a party.
So thank you. And yes, I know that, JD Vance is as bad, if not worse, but I'm still you can't make me not party.
Absolutely.
So thanks to our new patrons, Katie, Brianne Tadell, Nancy Siriani, Strout, Kate, and waiting for it to happen. So I'm wondering if that person joined just because we're going to be having that gala. And start thinking about where you want to have it too. But speaking of waiting for it to happen, as we record this on Monday, we still have not heard a peep in public from Donald Trump. Just a couple of fuzzy Bigfoot photos.
literally Bigfoot photos.
People who have photos of UFOs and Bigfoot, they're always blurry. It's 2025.
And they're trying to verify, is this even real? Yeah.
Right. And I've seen nothing on the media like the blitz that we had about Biden's health after his debate last year.
I'm sure Jake Tapper's working on something big.
Oh.
He has to be, right?
Yeah, no.
That's
I
his MO, talking
so.
about president's mental decline, right?
But yeah, his staffers are hiding it. Talk about AutoPen, right?
AutoPen.
The weird thing is that for proof of life this weekend, Trump posted a photo of him golfing with John Gruden.
Yeah, from a couple weeks ago, right?
From August 23rd.
Yeah,
that's from
weird.
The Associated Press archive and from John Gruden's Instagram. So it's why would you do that?
Isn't that they're not that smart to troll like that, are they?
I don't know. Maybe they're trolling.
Maybe they're trolling. Donald Trump does not like opportunities to miss the spotlight, though.
Yeah, that seems like if he were going to troll, it would be something else, not let's keep the camera away from me for a week.
It's so wild.
But
especially with the news that came, when was that, on Friday, Thursday, when the ruling came down about the tariffs? He didn't jump in front of a camera then, or?
Right, because and what you're talking about is an appeals court. The DC Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that those tariffs are illegal. And, they don't have anything to do with the law that he cited, because the law he cited to, employ the tariffs or execute the tariffs doesn't even mention the word tariff in it. So that happened. They gave him till October 15th to respond. Usually when a court of appeals comes up with a ruling, they issue a mandate like a week or two later. They're waiting 45 days for this one.
Yeah. Also, you said something earlier about, people saying, oh, J.D. Vance is worse or just as bad. Listen, people are not afraid of J.D. Vance. People are scared of Donald Trump. I don't believe lawmakers will be scared of J.D. Vance. Like, I just don't see it. And yes, he probably is worse because he's younger. He's a little bit more competent. He can string a sentence together and it makes it sound normal. But JD, nobody's afraid of him. It's not like he doesn't command the fear that. So I believe that with Donald Trump, when it happens, I feel like a lot of people in Congress, and this is, maybe wishful thinking on me, but I believe that a lot of people in Congress will magically grow a spine again and be able to stand up and say no. And like I said, maybe that's just wishful thinking, but nobody's afraid of J.D. Vance like they are Donald Trump. So
it's possible. We know the people who funded J.D. Vance will have the power to fund or defund elections, congressional elections, Peter Thiel and all those guys, and Curtis Yarvin and his Silicon Valley buddies, even though he claims to be like a backwater, hillbilly elegy guy from Appalachia, but just outside. Anyway, and MAGA doesn't care about when a cult loses its leader, it kind of breaks up. I mean, it's hard to replace a cult leader.
Yeah. It really is. But, we'll see what that happens. Like I said, that's just maybe wishful thinking. But the speculation is still out there. Where is Donald? Yeah,
it's odd. And it's not just about like where is he for me, at least. It's also about where's the media? If this were any other president, they would be hounding him doggedly for public comments to make an appearance. And I remember after the debate, the Biden debate, the really disastrous debate. I'm not going to try to pretend it wasn't bad for Joe Biden. But after that debate, the media was like, where is he? Where is he? He made 9 appearances in 13 appearances in 9 cities in 8 days or something like that. And then he gave that hour-long NATO speech.
Yeah.
That was really, really a good speech.
It really was.
Then he did that Wisconsin appearance right after the debate.
And wasn't one in North Carolina too?
Yeah.
He was all over the place.
And then, and the media was still like, that's not enough. We need whatever. And
then he did the sit down with, what network was that? He sat down with one of the major networks.
ABC, maybe.
Yeah.
Or CBS. But then, and so now we've got clearly like the picture of Trump on Monday morning. So there was a photo of him getting in the beast on Sunday.
Yeah. Allegedly.
And then there was a photo of him getting in the beast on Monday, and it looks like his hair's all gone.
Where's the video, though? Like, when people taking pictures, that's what I'm saying. Like, did people's camcorders, or is that what they call camcorder mode on your phone stop working?
That's what I'm talking about. It's 2025.
Like, they literally looked like they snapped that with a Polaroid and, like, had to wave it in the air, and they took a picture of it while it was still developing.
Yeah, it's like Zapruder. I don't... It's weird. But I feel like all of the calls in 2024 for Biden to resign and drop out and where is he and get in front of the camera. He needs to do more appearances. We just don't see anything like that on this side.
And wasn't it even more to feed more into the speculation of everything? J.D. Vance made some comments earlier in the week, late in the week last week, where he said that, he's ready to lead. God forbid anything happened to Donald Trump. Now, I mean, was that them putting it out there in the universe? I don't know, but it's definitely adding fuel to the conspiracy theory fire that's burning rampant out here.
Right. And again, it kind of makes you wonder if that's not by design or... Because we know Epstein's victims are going to be speaking this week. And
tomorrow, right? Well, yes, as people are listening to this, I think it was as yesterday.
And the birthday book is going to be handed over along with other documents from the Epstein estate. So that's Epstein files that aren't going to be scrubbed by the Department of Justice. they're going to hand those over to a subcommittee on oversight, right, for Epstein.
Yeah.
And so now, I mean, it's hard. It's just so hard to know. But the fact that everyone, I mean, the internet blew up on Thursday night with all this speculation. And so, I mean, he really, it's a national security issue. He needs to address the nation. He needs to be on camera. He needs to answer questions. There's something going on. And
we will be saying this if it was Joe Biden too, which Joe Biden did show up. This is, you know,
Joe Biden was everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
get him off my TV.
Listen, I revel at every opportunity to make Donald Trump look foolish and idiotic. But this is also, like you said, a national security issue too. So, you know, who's running the country right now?
Right. Talk about AutoPen, like I said. He's put a couple Truth Socials out. One of his Truth Socials was like, "I'm fine. Everything's fine. I feel great."
But none of them were in caps though.
And then nobody asked you. But it's just really weird. And then all of his recent campaign donation or, you know, donation to Trump emails. I don't know what he's running for, but he's still sending out donation emails, probably for the RNC.
Yeah.
He's like, help me get into heaven. Like, have you seen these? He's talking about wanting to get into heaven.
Yeah, I didn't see the emails, but I saw. So he was doing that, I think, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, saying that how he wants to make sure he gets into heaven by ending the war in Israel. He's like, I haven't done a lot of good in life or something like that. But he's like, if I can end this war, maybe that'll get me into heaven. And that was about 2 or 3 weeks ago. But
yeah, and even earlier than that, he was talking about, you know, well, the fact that a doctor came out and said that he had something wrong with him.
Yeah.
The CVI or whatever.
Yeah.
And we were all like, what? He never admits that there's anything wrong with him.
So something's going on. And maybe this is the week we find out what's going on.
Yeah, maybe he made a deal with Peter Thiel and Elon. He said, we'll let you be president for a year and then you got to get sick and go away.
But
he actually looks sick. That's the problem.
He really does. That's the thing.
He doesn't.
When all
good.
that evil catches up to you, man, I tell you.
Yeah, hate corrodes the container it's carried in.
Hey, yeah. Did you make that up? I like that saying. That's good.
I don't know. That's one of those things I've always said, and maybe I coined it.
It rings true, though.
Maybe I read it somewhere else.
That rings true.
But we'll keep an eye on it for sure. I keep poking the media and trying to get the media to do better.
Yeah.
About demanding a press conference. He's avoiding the press. He's avoiding the cameras. Nobody can get a clear shot of him. Nobody's got any video. He went golfing, but there's not a single photo of him actually golfing except for the ones he put up from a week earlier. So I don't know. It was just pictures of him and the Beast looking like Weekend at Bernie's is all I've seen. All right. We have a lot of news to get to today, including some disturbing news about January 6th defendants and Ashli Babbitt. But a little bright spot with a Proud Boys lawsuit. We're going to talk about that when we come back from this break. Stick around. We'll be right back.
All right, everybody, welcome back. All right, so like Allison said before the break, we have some disturbing news, and this is from PBS. The U.S. government is offering military funeral honors for Ashli Babbitt, the writer who was killed at 35 by an officer in the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Babbitt was an Air Force veteran from California who was shot dead wearing a Trump campaign flag wrapped around her shoulders while attempting to climb through the broken window of a barricaded door leading into the speaker's lobby inside the Capitol.
Yeah, and I wouldn't characterize it as trying to climb through. Girl got up on a banister and jumped at the officer.
Yeah.
From my memory of that video. Offering military honors to one of the Capitol rioters is part of Trump's attempts to rewrite the chapter of history after the 2020 election as a patriotic stand. The whole thing about what happened at the Capitol. Given he still denies that he lost the election, Babbitt has gained martyrdom status among Republicans, and the Trump administration agreed to pay on about $5 million to settle a wrongful death lawsuit that her family filed over the shooting. Now, Matthew Lohmeyer, He's an undersecretary of the Air Force. He said on Twitter that the decision was long overdue, was it? And shared a post from a conservative legal group that was advocating for Babbitt's family. The group, Judicial Watch, of course, said the family had requested military honors from former President Joe Biden's administration and had been denied. And
rightfully so.
Rightfully so.
Yeah. In a statement, a U.S. Air Force spokesperson said that after reviewing the circumstances of Babbitt's death, military funeral honors were offered to the family. Babbitt was a senior airman in the Air Force. The post shared by Lohmeyer included a link to a letter the Air Force undersecretary wrote to Babbitt's family, inviting them to meet him at the Pentagon.
Ugh.
After reviewing the circumstances of Ashli's death and considering the information that has come forward since then, I am persuaded that the previous determination was incorrect, the August 15th letter read. Like, what information since then? Like, what new facts came to light?
None.
The information that came forward is Donald Trump pardoned everybody. No new information was released that said, this shit makes me so angry. And Brian Sicknick still has not, mother has still not heard from the president, never will, obviously. And Sicknick was a Trump supporter. Brian Sicknick was a Republican. Brian Sicknick was in the Air Force or the National Guard. Forgive me, my memory is judging which one it was. But what a total slap in the face. And this is like absolute BS right here. And screw you, Undersecretary. You are a piece of crap, man.
Yeah, Sicknick they actually had to fight tooth and nail to get line of duty status.
Sure did.
For Brian.
But thankfully he was able to lie in the rotunda.
Yeah.
But Jesus, man, what a piece of crap, man. Everybody should be insulted, especially families of veterans who had the honor to have military funeral benefits or whatever it's called. But this is just a total slap in the face, and it desecrates what those honors actually represent, because she was a terrorist and she was a traitor. Listen, I hate when anybody dies, but just go away.
Yeah,
just
a seditionist, $5 million and an honor guard funeral. It's the veterans that were there that day had their benefits stripped from them, and I'm wondering how many have gotten them back now.
Yeah,
it is. It's a slap in the face. It's like that Arlington bullshit that happened. Where Trump wanted to do the thing, and that report got buried about Trump's people assaulting someone.
Yeah,
an Arlington employee, actually, right?
Yeah, it was in Arlington. Yeah, I think we talked about that actually on this show. Mm-hmm. But Matthew Lohmeyer, the undersecretary, that's long overdue. Quote, long overdue. And obviously, who's that? Judicial Watch. That's the guy that wears the small shirts all the time.
Tom Fitton.
Tom Fitton. That guy, man, it's terrible. After reviewing the circumstances of Babbitt's death, military funeral honors were offered to the family. Reviewing the circumstances of her death and the information that has come forward since then.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about.
What is he basing that on?
Maybe that Donald Trump has declared that it wasn't an insurrection and pardoned everybody is the only thing I can think of, like you said.
Unbelievable.
Well, another weird story. This is from Politico. A federal judge has authorized a $2,200 refund to a January 6th rioter whose felony conviction was dropped after Trump issued a blanket pardon to everyone who breached the Capitol or attacked police. This is the first time a pardoned January 6th defendant has received a refund of the fines and restitution that many were ordered to pay, even though the Justice Department endorsed the refunds in April. This is U.S. District Judge John Bates. He approved the return of $2,000 restitution paid by Yvonne St. Cyr, concluding that because she had appealed her conviction and the appeal was still pending when Trump's pardon ended her case, she was no longer guilty in the eyes of the law. I don't see this at all, and was entitled to the return of her funds. She was also refunded a separate $270 penalty applied after her sentencing.
And this case really sticks out to me. I was actually at the sentencing of St. Cyr here. I was in the courtroom when she was sentenced, and she just went on rambling and rambling, so much to the fact that in her, like, when you have your moment to speak before your sentence, that the judge kind of had to cut her off because she just kept going and going about nothing. And it wasn't even related to January 6th. So this stands out even more to me. But the judge said, sometimes a judge is called upon to do what the law requires, even if it may seem at odds with what justice or one's initial instincts might warrant. And that's Judge Bates. He was a George W. Bush appointee. This is one such occasion. Bates presided over a jury trial that resulted in St. Cyr's conviction in March 2023. She was convicted of 2 felony counts of impeding police during a civil disorder, egging on rioters as they battered police near the Capitol's Lower West Terrace tunnel. St. Cyr also remained defiant, telling Bates she did the right thing on January 6th, just before he sentenced her to 30 months in prison. And that's when I was, like I said, when I was in that courtroom. And it was,
were you there? Were you given any statements?
No. I tried to see as many cases as I could that I had free time to go to. Yeah. Just having people in the courtroom, letting know that the cameras might have gone away, but we're still showing up. And I went to cases up until a week or so before Donald Trump was sworn in again. So,
yeah, showing support for the victims. Despite his reluctance, Bates became the first judge to approve the return of fines and restitution paid by the January 6th rioter, who was subsequently let off the hook by Trump's mass pardons. Several other judges, there's 5 actually, rejected similar efforts, saying that even if Trump had pardoned them, they couldn't recoup the funds they'd already paid as part of their sentences. Several contended they were unable to authorize refunds because the money had already been paid to the Treasury, and only Congress can approve such withdrawals. That was all under note v. the United States. And I guess what Bates is saying here is that your conviction isn't completely finalized until the appeal process is exhausted. Bates says his colleagues were mistaken, overlooking the court's power to approve a financial judgment, which he said did not require additional approval from Congress. That's exactly opposite what the U.S. Supreme Court says.
Upon vacating St. Cyr's conviction, the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals did not determine that St. Cyr is innocent of the crimes for which she was convicted, nor has this court done so, Bates wrote. But because of the vacator and subsequent dismissal, the law presumes that she is innocent. As a result, As a result, the government has no right to retain St. Cyr's $2,270, which the law deems always hers.
No.
That's not how this works, right?
I disagree. And the thing is, nobody's going to appeal this.
Because the only people would be the DOJ.
The DOJ would normally appeal it, but the DOJ thinks that they should all be refunded. So there's no adversary here to appeal. And one other thing that happened, we talked about Ashli Babbitt. We talked about how her estate sued the Trump Justice Department, and the Trump Justice Department settled for $5 million.
Yeah.
And a while back, the Proud Boys sued the Department of Justice for $100 million. And you and I were like, they're going to settle with the Proud Boys, right? But they didn't. The Department of Justice actually filed a motion to dismiss the Proud Boys lawsuit, saying that they disagree with it and that the convictions, though pardoned, were not wrongful, which is weird.
This is very
like if
weird.
they were wrongful, or if they weren't wrongful convictions, then why'd you pardon them?
I wonder what they're setting up here, AG, with this. Like, this doesn't follow suit from what, the DOJ is doing with these convictions. It just doesn't follow suit, and it smells fishy here.
Yeah, I don't know either. Unless they have some sort of guarantee from the Supreme Court that the case can go forward. I don't know. I really don't know, but we'll find out.
And also worth noting, that case was filed in Florida, where I think they did it there to hopefully obviously get a favorable jury also. Was it a jury trial, I believe, that they requested? I can't remember.
I can't remember if they demanded a jury trial. I'm sure that they did.
But they clearly did not file it in Washington, D.C.
No, of course not. All right, we have more news to get to, including that weird story about Kash Patel's girlfriend suing that guy. And we're going to get to that, but we have to take this quick break. So everybody stick around. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. All right. This is a weird bit of news. This is from Raw Story. FBI Director Kash Patel's girlfriend is suing a former agent who is claiming whistleblower protections after he alleged she was a spy and part of a honeypot operation. CNBC reported Friday that Alexis Wilkins filed a lawsuit against Kyle Seraphin, claiming he has maliciously lied about her, falsely asserting that she, an American-born country singer, is an agent of a foreign government assigned to manipulate and compromise the director of the FBI. That's what the lawsuit alleges. And you know what? Maybe. Like Seraphin, a conservative podcaster, refers to himself as a recovering FBI agent. Wilkins claims that he's using the accusations against her as self-enriching clickbait. Kind of reminds me of the Macron lawsuit against Candace Owens. That one's legit, right?
Yeah. When I heard this story, I had to go back and look. I was like, wait a minute, I know this name. And I looked it up, and Kyle Seraphin is an individual who attacked me and a lot of the Sergeant Cannell, Michael Fanone, Danny Hodges. He attacked a lot of us on Twitter frequently. And this is one of the posts that came up. This is when I was running for Congress back in March 2024. And it said, "Is it weird that Harry Dunn, a fat, illiterate, and lying former federal LEO, law enforcement officer, is running for Congress in one of the worst states, Maryland," which is really amazing. And he says they almost deserve him. Even with a mediocre average IQ in Congress, old Harry Dunn would definitely drag the average down. I was like, whoa, man, wait a minute. Whoa.
Wow, I didn't know that he attacked you. I knew that he had attacked.
That was just one of the attacks. He attacked me numerous times, but now
I knew he attacked some of the senior FBI officials that have been fired, Jensen, and Giordano and Brian Driscoll, who was accidentally the acting director of the FBI for a minute.
Man,
and Seraphin buddied up to Kash Patel and got Kash Patel to tell Jensen and Driscoll to fire other top officials, and they wouldn't. And then 2 days later, those guys were fired. And Seraphin said, "Good riddance." Although he said, and I'm quoting, "I've got 4 scalps on my belt at the top tiers of the FBI." But Brian Driscoll, he said, was collateral damage in that whole thing because Patel actually really liked Driscoll. And
because
Jensen.
everybody else respected him there. So,
yeah,
But anyway, I just thought that the history of Seraphin, that's, whatever.
You're like, I recognize that guy.
Yeah, I recognize that, but screw that guy. But Seraphin, in a response, claimed on his show that he never directly accused Wilkins of being a spy, adding that similar rumors have circulated widely online. However, the lawsuit contends that as a former counterintelligence FBI agent, Seraphin's comments carry serious weight and can't be dismissed as an exaggeration or internet gossip. Indeed, Seraphin never says Wilkins' name when speaking about it. Though her attorney, Wilkins, flatly denies any ties to Israel, intelligence agencies, or covert activity.
Right. And if this was just like cat turd saying you were Mossad, okay, probably you don't have any claim there. But if you've got an ex-FBI counterintelligence agent, it
kind of carries a little bit more weight. Yeah,
it's a little different. I am not picking any sides in this particular battle. I
hope they both lose.
Right? Can they both be out a bunch of money? It's like when the Steelers play the Bengals. I'm like, just beat each other up. Anyway, the complaint continues. Sorry to any Steelers Bengals fans. I do actually root for them if they make it to the Super Bowl because they're in my division. But the complaint continues, noting Ms. Wilkins is not even Jewish, let alone Israeli, and has never set foot in Israel, calling Seraphin's claims both baseless and insulting. Is it insulting to be called Jewish? Okay.
I'd about to say, geez, wow.
The suit also emphasizes that labeling her a honeypot essentially accuses her of being an agent of a foreign government attempting to undermine U.S. national security and law enforcement, which amounts to an accusation of treason. Okay, right. So defamation, like on its face, if you accuse someone of being guilty of a crime without actually having committed that crime, that is defamation. So I don't know. This is kind of a stretch, calling somebody a honeypot. I mean, I'm thinking back to who was the redhead that infiltrated the NRA and Erickson and Beauty and the Beast. And,
I don't remember that. I know you're talking about.
Butina.
Yeah.
That was her name.
Putina.
Butina. Yeah. Maria Butina.
Putina.
She was definitely a honeypot. Anyway, the Patel, quote, has had his own little honeypot issue that's going on as of late. So we're just going to acknowledge it real publicly. That's what Seraphin said on a podcast episode cited in the lawsuit.
Yeah, and it goes on. He's got a girlfriend that is half his age who is both a country music singer, a political commentator on Rumble, a friend of John Rich, through FBI Director Dan Bongino, who also now owns a big chunk of Rumble. And she's also a former Mossad agent in what is like the equivalent of their NSA, he continued. But I'm sure that's totally because, like, she's really looking for a cross-eyed, kind of thick-built, super cool bro who's almost 50 years old, who's Indian in America, Seraphin said, with his voice dripping in sarcasm. Like, it has nothing to do with the fact that we're really close to the Trump administration, he added. Anyway, I'm sure that's totally just like love. That's what real love looks like. The suit is asking for $5 million in damages.
I mean, again, I'm not picking any sides on this. But
like I said, I hope they both lose. But he attacked me, so I really hope he loses. I mean, like, he called it mediocre average IQ. Like, I mean, I've never taken an IQ test, but I'm pretty sure I'm above mediocre. That could be defamation, right? Like, man.
Yeah, that's just wild. Like, I mean,
I just, like I said, I wish the worst for both of them. Like, that's whatever, man.
Yeah, like, what's a 25-year-old country singer doing with a 50-year-old thick man who's Indian in America? That's a quote.
A cross-eyed.
Oh, cross-eyed. I left out cross-eyed.
Cross-eyed. Man, he's just hurling darts right at the FBI director, huh?
I guess so. Anyway, we'll see how that all shakes out. We actually have some Rudy news today.
Yes, we do. We do got Rudy.
And we also have some Alan Dershowitz news. They kind of go together, really. Rudy news and Dershowitz news. I was about to say hand
in hand. They're like the same people.
Yeah, like, if we don't have any Mike Lindell, but if we did, he'd be in there. They're kind of in that same group of people. And we're going to talk about that after this last break. So everybody stick around. We'll be right back.
All right, everybody, welcome back. All right, we got two more stories for you. From CNN, retired Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz lost his bid on Friday to overturn a ruling that dismissed his defamation lawsuit against CNN over the news channel's coverage of the remarks he made during Donald Trump's 2020 impeachment trial.
Oh, the 11th? The 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, very conservative, ruled that Dershowitz presented no evidence that CNN's reporters and commentators operated with actual malice in covering Dershowitz's defense of Trump's push for Ukraine to investigate his rival in the 2020 race, Democrat Joe Biden. Dershowitz, quote, made a spontaneous series of remarks before Congress that, he says, were misinterpreted by pundits. But even if those commentators did report incorrectly on Dershowitz's statements, he's offered no evidence that they did so intentionally. That's Judge Britt Grant in a majority opinion at the 11th Circuit.
So we're learning a lot about defamation. And like you said, it's a high bar and you have to do it intentionally.
Yeah, with malice.
So we're learning a lot about that as we're going around. Dershowitz, in an interview, said he would appeal the ruling to the U.S. Supreme Court, arguing that the 11th Circuit, the conservative 11th Circuit decision, relied on a landmark 1964 ruling by the High Court. New York Times v. Sullivan, that he said has been expanded unrealistically to make lying journalists immune.
Oh, my God.
He cited a concurring opinion in Friday's decision by Judge Barbara Lagoa, who said She only voted to uphold the dismissal of Dershowitz's lawsuit because she was bound by Sullivan.
So Dershowitz is using that as the defense. One of the judges said, hey, I'm bound by existing law. You didn't defame anyone. And he's like, see, she wants to let my lawsuit go forward, but she can't because of the law. Like, what kind of argument is that? Lagoa said there was little dispute that CNN defamed Alan Dershowitz under any common understanding of that term, and that the only thing standing between Dershowitz and justice was the Sullivan ruling. Yeah, that's how the law works, Lagoa.
It's like literally saying, you know what? If this wasn't illegal, it could be legal.
Right.
Like, wait, what?
The only thing standing between Jeffrey Dahmer and a murder conviction is that eating people after you kill them
law.
is against the law. Womp womp. The third judge on the panel, Charles Wilson, in a concurring opinion, defended the Sullivan case from 1964 and the press protections that it provides. Dershowitz sued CNN following the outlet's coverage of its remarks, including in its broadcast. A federal judge in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, ruled for CNN in April of 2023. Dershowitz had argued that internal communications showed CNN and its commentators collaborated to damage his reputation. But Grant, if you get together and to damage someone's reputation with a bunch of facts,
I mean,
you can't
it's not
sue
really
for defamation.
Yes.
But Grant, in Friday's majority opinion, said those internal messages tend to support CNN's position that the relevant speakers believed in the truth of their reporting. So there we go.
So there we go. All right. So now we got some Rudy news. All right. This is from the Times. Rudy was injured in a car accident in New Hampshire on Saturday evening and taken to the hospital with a fractured vertebrae, according to the head of security for Mr. Giuliani, the former mayor of New York, and Donald Trump's lawyer. Mr. Giuliani, 81, is expected to recover, the security chief, Michael Ragusa, said.
Now, the narrative of how the accident unfolded, based on accounts from Mr. Ragusa, isn't that Carmine's last name from Laverne and Shirley? Carmine Ragusa?
Carmine Ragusa?
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty solid name.
Yeah. Like, don't mess with Carmine. And the New Hampshire State Police, this whole narrative is, according to the New York Times, a little unclear.
It's a weird story.
Yeah, you don't say. Mr. Giuliani was in a Ford Bronco being driven by...
Was it OJ's?
Yeah, by Theodore Goodman on Interstate 93 near Manchester, New Hampshire. The first time I heard about this, I was like, well, at least it's not Lauren Bacall's Mercedes, because Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss have that car.
Have that.
So he was in a Ford Bronco. He was a passenger. I was asking for this detail, but it didn't come out until later. So he was the passenger. Ted Goodman was driving or in the car in the driver's seat on Interstate 93 near Manchester, New Hampshire at around 10 p.m., the police said in a statement. Ragusa said the car was flagged down by a woman who was the victim of domestic violence, and they stopped to help. The police noted the domestic violence incident, but did not address whether Giuliani was actually assisting the victim. Giuliani called 911 and waited until help arrived and then departed. And again, that's according to Rudy's spokesperson. Okay.
Yeah.
That's just a weird.
It's just really weird. And now the police said Mr. Giuliani's vehicle was northbound on the highway on the opposite side of the road from where the domestic violence incident was reported, when it was rear-ended by a Honda HR-V driven by Lauren Kemp, 19, of Concord, New Hampshire. Both vehicles hit the median and were heavily damaged, the police report said. Mr. Ragusa said that the car that hit Mr. Giuliani's was traveling at a high speed.
And now, was Giuliani's moving, or were they?
That's were they still parked? Like,
yeah, nothing is clear in this.
It's not clear. Troopers and fire officials responding to the domestic violence report witnessed the collision and crossed the interstate to help at the accident scene, the state police said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Giuliani was taken to an undisclosed hospital where doctors diagnosed a fractured thoracic vertebra, so he has a spine, injuries to his leg and left arm, and contusions and lacerations. And that's according to Mr. Ragusa. Both Ms. Kemp, the driver of the Honda, and Mr. Goodman, whoever was in the driver's seat, not sure if they were driving or parked in the Bronco, also suffered injuries that were not life-threatening, according to the police, but the crash is still under investigation. So the weird part about this story is a couple weird things. First of all, the details are really weird.
Very.
But then Giuliani put out a statement saying, I was helping it, or maybe it was his spokesperson, Carmine Ragusa, said that Giuliani was in an accident, broke a thoracic vertebra, contusions, bruises, taken to the hospital. He had pulled over to the side of the road to help a domestic violence victim before the accident happened. And then there was something like, and this is the only statement authorized by Rudy Giuliani. Nothing else is true. Don't believe anything else. This is the only statement. Like something really weird like
something that. Really weird.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, yeah, that's a really weird statement.
Very weird. But I mean, listen, I don't.
I never tell a story like where I'm like, yeah, last night I went out, I ran into a couple friends. We had a cocktail, we went dancing. And if anybody tells you different, they are lying. Like, yeah, like that's not how stories go. Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, it's terrible. And AG, I wanted to bring up a story real quick that this actually it was on Twitter.
Is this the Medal of Honor?
No. So this is Sergeant Gunnell was tweeting, and actually news people actually picked it up. So Sergeant Gunnell, obviously, as everybody knows, was my former coworker, my former supervisor. I hate saying that guy was my boss, but it's a love-hate kind of thing. I love that guy. But
you're just giving him shit.
Yeah, exactly. But Sergeant Gunnell tweeted, this was in reference to the Ashli Babbitt news that she was getting honors. He tweeted, she was a traitor then and is a traitor now, and she will always be in the future. And this is, and then an individual by the name of Ryan Nichols Sr. responded to Sergeant Gunnell, so are you. We should have went harder on you that day. Ugh. And Sergeant Gunnell responded to him, this is coming from a guy who claimed he was innocent and asked the judge for leniency. And our great lawyer, Mark Zaid, responded, this is the type of person Trump pardoned. He proudly asserts that they should have injured a U.S. Capitol Police officer worse than they did on January 6th. And he noted, obviously, that Sergeant Gunnell had to medically retire. And then Zaid goes on to say, but MAGA supports law enforcement? Seriously? Then show me by condemning this guy. And the individual's name is Ryan Nichols Sr., who said that they should have went harder on Sergeant Gunnell that day. So I saw it happening on Twitter. Sergeant Gunnell sent it to me, but I see that Ross Story picked it up and, did a little article about it. But that just goes to show those are the type of people that they think are great people. So,
well, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Fuck those dudes.
But yeah, wanted to bring that up because he sent it to me, and I want to make sure that people are sending support. And listen, we are still out here talking about January 6th, and it's not going away for us. So I, as much as I pat those guys on the back, Gunnell and Hodges and Fanone, I give myself a pat on the back too, because we are still taking the verbal abuse from a lot of these insurrectionists that are still attacking us almost 5 years later. So,
man, that's heart goes out to Sergeant Gunnell.
Yeah.
When I said Medal of Honor, I said that because breaking news on Monday as we recorded this is that Trump posted on Truth Social that he's going to be giving Rudy Giuliani the Medal of Honor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. An equally great American patriot, he'll receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom, our country's highest civilian honor. Same that Rush Limbaugh got, I think. Details as time and place to follow. I won't be there because I'm hiding from the cameras. No, he didn't say. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again. So he's going to be giving the Medal of Freedom to.
Speaking of another awards and stuff, did you see this kind of hurt my heart a little bit? Gloria Gaynor.
Yeah. Oh, apparently she's a Trumper.
I will survive, and she is a Trumper.
Yeah.
Oh man,
she's getting Kennedy Center honors. That's
why. Yeah. They pulled her, her history, and she's donates to like Ted Cruz and all that. Man, she is a MAGA wingnut, and that's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, and I go to a lot of gay bars, and they don't really play her song that much anymore. It used to be an anthem.
Yeah,
and it's not so much anymore. All right, that is our show, and I wish we had better news. For everybody. But we'll be back in your ears next week. Maybe something upbeat will happen between now and then, and we can talk about it. If you're a patron, we'll see you this weekend on the bonus episode. Thanks again to our new patrons. If you want to become a patron, patreon.com/aisle45pod, AISLE45POD. You'll get all those invites and special stuff, and you get to come to the IT Gala when it happens.
IT Gala.
Wear my big red dress, you know?
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So
our galas are always a blast.
They are. So you'll be there. Bring a friend if you're able to swing it. Encourage a friend to join us and join this big community of patrons that we have. The last happy hour that we had was so much love in there, and you could just tell that everybody just loves being there amongst people that get it. So if you're looking for a community, we welcome you into ours.
Yeah, community is so important in authoritarian
especially in this.
regimes.
I was just about to say, absolutely. Yep. A lot of people are feeling like you are.
Because they try to isolate us, but we will not be.
We will not be isolated.
We will not. You may not gaslight us.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody.
Not.
That's the show. And we really appreciate it. I hope you had a great Labor Day weekend. Thank a union for weekends and
yes,
8-hour work days and Labor Day weekend. And,
speaking of Labor Day, real quick, AG, I want to ask a quick poll because I like getting our audience involved. But so Labor Day weekend, it's a lot of cookouts. End of the summer, the pools are closing. People like to throw stuff on the grill. For those that eat hot dogs, how do you like your hot dog cooked? Do you like it like charred up real good? Because I had the opportunity to man the grill a little bit this over the weekend. And I said, no, we need to cook these things. They were done, but I would need a little bit of char on it.
I like a little char. And I really like the ones that have the cheese and jalapenos baked into them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's so good. So much flavor. Like you bite into it and it's bursting with flavor,
Yeah. Give me
How
the
do you
cheesy.
like your hot dogs, y'all?
Yeah. I just like it with a warm bun, a little charred, and I like the jalapeno and cheese, and that's it. That's all I want on my hot dogs. No
condiments?
Nope.
I love mustard. If I got to pick one, just give me some mustard. I mean, I like ketchup and mustard, some onions, but give me mustard. Absolutely.
Nice. All right, everybody. Let us know. Write in. Let us know how you like your dogs. If you're a patron, you can comment on the show when we put it up on Patreon. Again, if you want to join us, patreon.com/aisle45pod. And we will be back in your ears next week. Thank you so much for listening. Just listening is an act of resistance, and you support independent media. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week. I'm Allison Gill.
Harry Dunn. Thanks, y'all.
Cleanup on Aisle 45 is written, researched, and produced by Allison Gill, with editing by Molly Hockey. Our art and logo design are by Joelle Reeder and Moxie Design Studios, and our music is composed and performed by Adam Orr. Cleanup on Aisle 45 is a proud member of the MSW Media Network, a collection of creator-owned podcasts dedicated to news, politics, and justice. For more information, visit mswmedia.com. MSW Media.